I guess what are your thoughts on how your team's looking right now going into second half of this?
Well, I'm proud of our resilience. This team continues to battle with being a little bit shorthanded with our numbers, and we're finding a lot of improvement in a lot of ways. And so we're in a pretty good position, and we just need to take care of one day getting better.
Seemed like maybe barring the last game a little bit, the 3-point defense has been a lot better. Is that a lot of that switching help rotations, or is there anything else that kind of has been
No, I
keying
think
that?
it's certain things that we want to race off the board and things that we want to take away. I think, it got our attention very quickly at UNC, got your attention very quickly at NAU, obviously Montana, the first quarter. So things that we just need to be there on airtime and on the catch a little bit quicker.
I mean, how impressed have you been with the defense? I guess, I mean, the last game, I guess, seems a little bit of a bad taste, but overall, it just seems like you guys have been playing.
Yeah, well, obviously, NAU spreads you out really well, but there were a lot of things that we just didn't execute as well as we had on Thursday night. And one of those areas was really eliminating the post with Sophie Glancy on rolls and dump passes and offensive rebounds. We just weren't on par to what we had been doing. And, we just got to get that back because Montana's going to be very good on their home floor. They've got a lot of inside presence as well as the outside. So we're going to have to make sure that we finish plays.
Of course, with the caveat that you want to be prepared for everybody every game. Your final 6 games are all against teams that you've already beaten this year. Does that, or should it, give your team a little bit more confidence as you enter this week?
Honestly, I didn't even look at that stat, Parker. I just knew we had Montana this week, so I feel like this team believes that when we step on the floor, if we do what we're great at, we've got a chance every night. So we've just got to make sure we're playing to our best self, because we also know that anybody can beat us on every night, and you're kind of seeing that in the conference. Some of those teams that are maybe on their lower end have had some success as of late, so we just need to make sure we're getting better right now.
This rivalry, especially winning on the road, is never easy. You guys have had success, 9-1 in the last 10 games. So, what have you, in your eyes, has led to that success?
Well, I think your team needs to show up prepared for the atmosphere. It starts with that. It's going to be very loud. So your communication, your ability to lock in and focus on what you're doing, just especially at the other end in that first half, is really critical. And knowing that it's going to be a physical game and you're not going to expect any calls, you're just going to really try to get yourselves to the next plays and stay together.
You kind of spoke about it, maybe not getting any calls, but the freshmen got to experience the rivalry here. Is there anything different than you're telling them, that they're going to experience on the road down in Missoula?
Well, the biggest thing is just the communication for how loud it's going to be. The best comparison we have this year was at South Dakota State, and we just need to be prepared for that. Atmosphere is going to be very different than when it's behind you, and so they've got to understand that your huddle is what you have. And we've had recent success on the road, but we also know that this is a rivalry game, and we're coming off of a loss, and we want to regroup and be better than what we were last Saturday.
You mentioned last week that was the most poised you've seen Natalie play this season yet in that first half race. So how important is that composure for that younger core going into this one?
Well, it's super huge, especially with the fact that the Grizz can change up some looks on you defensively. So we could see some different things, and we want to make sure we're valuing our possessions. If we break a press, if are we just playing into those hands? Are we getting a great possession out of it? And that does start with your point guard.
Does your team feel any pressure as the season's kind of coming? The tail end of the regular season, you guys are both 8-4, just fighting up for that 2 seed and that bye going into the tournament.
I don't know if it's pressure. I just think that they're feeling the February hunger, right? So you get really hungry in February as far as kind of like you're finishing the grind of the season. You're on the tail end of the last 4 weeks, and you want to finish really strong heading into the tournament. And we feel like we're doing some things really well. And I'm going to go back to Saturday. We want to be better than what we were last Saturday. We want to make sure we're moving forward and getting better.
And then last time they got out to a 19-5 lead on y'all first quarter. How do you make sure you don't get behind early, especially on the road this time?
Well, hopefully we don't have that rough of a start, right? The biggest thing is making sure with that we know that they have quick triggers. That's how they jumped on us very quickly the first time. Is we were there, but not quick enough. And this team, it looks for the 3 ball. They shoot the 3 ball very well. But you also don't want to defend the 3 ball without realizing that they have other ways to attack and score against you. So we just want to be sharp. We want to make sure that they earn what they get. And then we want to get our offense going and find a great shot for ourselves.
It was such an emotional ending to that last CAG Grizz. How are the emotions of your team just going into this one?
Yeah, I think it's really trying to stay in the present and not focus on kind of that last 30 minutes and just like that was a really tough situation. But this is a new game, it's a new matchup. We've got KJ back, which is great for us going into that matchup. And so we just want to make sure we're going into the game really focusing on each other.
How was KJ look, not just physically, but also mentally since that?
Yeah, she's, every day I feel like she's getting a little bit more back, getting her legs underneath her, getting her lungs. She's been sore. I won't lie to you there. It was a pretty hard fall, but she's gotten better every day. And so that's just a matter of time. And I would say KJ's probably harder on herself than anybody else could ever be. And anytime you're coming back from an injury, it takes a few reps to get yourself going again. And she's always producing for us in multiple ways, and I saw that again today in practice. So yeah, she's looking great.
Do you have any sense of how Malia and Brooke are kind of in their first CAG Grizz on the road going into this one?
I always rely on my upperclassmen to make sure everybody's ready to go. So I know those two are from the state of Montana, so they're very well aware of it. So they're going to be ready.